the ones on heavy bag.
Now we can go back through, but we can go
Okay.
back live now.
All
Let's
right.
continue back up. So, guys, are we gonna do predictions for FA Ajagba versus Frank Sanchez? Because, I mean, this is one that could potentially steal the show.
Ready for a prediction. I'm like on the fence. You putting too much pressure on me, Lucas. I mean, dang. I mean, my gut is saying Sanchez. My gut
All
is.
right.
I
We're
think he
just
has a higher boxing IQ.
we're gonna
Um,
add we're gonna add this one to the
Oh,
tournament.
oh no, I'm on a losing streak lately with you in this tournament,
It's all right.
James.
It's okay.
actually, before we do that, Malachi, you want to eat your crow?
But yes, I do.
Damn.
I picked wrong. I picked Anthony Joshua. Outstanding performance from Alexander Usyk. Congratulations to the man. But I did say that if it got past 6 rounds, Anthony Joshua was in trouble. That he needed to finish him in 6. Um,
He did. Say
it was
that.
unbelievable. It was an outstanding performance from Usyk. I think he answered a ton of questions that people had. Can he take the power? Is he big enough? Skills pay the bills, and his skills are off the chart. I still think he has trouble versus the winner of this main event should they fight. But we'll get into that should that time come. As for now, congratulations to the man. He was amazing.
Yeah, I was just giving you shit, but
Let's just be honest about it, Lucas.
yeah. Good fight though. We got some chances here for you to redeem yourself, and as far as the predictions go. So you say, James, we're adding Ajagba.
It's in there. Ajagba's in there, and the Helenius Kownacki is in there, and Berlanga and Kosares is also in there.
All right.
So there's 4 fights for this weekend coming up. Get your predictions in on time, please. I will include Malachi in this next one. I'll send you the link,
Yeah,
Malachi, so you can get me some predictions.
we can probably just get Malachi added into
For
everything.
sure.
So, does anybody really have a prediction when it comes to Sanchez?
I'm taking
Oh.
FA. I think he's gonna knock. I'm taking him by KO.
Oh, it's hard for me. It really is. That one's a hard one for me. But you think he's knocking him out, huh?
Yeah, I think he is. I think that he's gonna catch him and put him out.
Yeah, good pick, Malachi. Good pick. Not so fast, my friend. Sanchez with that Cuban style. I like Sanchez in this one. FA's got a lot to prove. He's been doing it. I'll give him that. He's been doing it, but he still has a lot to prove. I'm going with Sanchez.
By KO too, I assume.
Decision.
Okay.
Well, I mean,
I'll go next. Yeah.
no, I was just gonna say, like, it's kind of like when FA and his former trainer kind of like, parted ways. I started feeling questionable. So on FA, so I gotta stick with Sanchez.
I'm going to go with FA, and I'm thinking he stops him late or we'll get a decision. But definitely want to see FA come out on top, and then hopefully maybe face Fury or Wilder in his next bout. That's a big bout. I don't know that they would make that, but would love to see that.
I mean, they might be building towards something. I mean, when you're set up on an undercard as a co-main, I mean, there's always that possibility
Sure.
of being elevated. So I don't know. I definitely think I'm going to go with a FA as well. So, Javi, you last.
I'm gonna go with Frank Sanchez just because F I've seen a bit vulnerable and he has that power, but I gotta go with the Cuban style, man. They're level to the game, and you cannot take off something that you're not gonna be able to hit. And I'm sure he's gonna hit Sanchez, but Sanchez has the same motherfucking pop. He just had more technique. So I'm gonna go with Sanchez on this one.
Yeah. Normally I'm there with you on the whole thing, but
I mean, I have to say that I do believe that FA has had more experience um, with a little tougher competition than Sanchez. So, that is also a factor in the fight. I don't know which way is the cookie's gonna crumble, but I'm leaning towards Sanchez. But don't you write that down, James, because I could change at the last minute again.
All right. It's okay.
Well, I agree with you, Shakur. He does have the more experience with better competition, and he struggled in some of
Yes,
those.
correct. You're absolutely right. But
That's what I'm saying. And
experience is experience. I mean, you're supposed to learn from those experiences. I think the main thing the FA learned was get these cats out of here early, and don't be waiting around for them to make you, to start making a big gap in your level. I mean, in your boxing levels. You know what I'm saying? Like, so if he can get guys out early, then it's working in his favor.
that's the thing, though. I mean, there's not everybody's gonna go, and I think when it comes to experience,
Absolutely.
when you come from Cuba, from the Cuban system, you pretty much got a lot of experience. Even if you don't have a lot of pro rounds,
Yeah.
much experience, you got top quality experience. That's why I'm going with Frank Sanchez. I think FS is a power, is a
Hmm.
powerhouse, and he has the chance. But I think Frank Sanchez is gonna just outbox him and probably stop
Hmm.
him.
let's let's talk about this then before we start going into the main event here. The pay-per-view is slated for $79.99. Now we've talked that it is a decent undercard, but is it warranting the $79.99 price tag, guys?
I'll go first. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I've seen worse. And that's pretty much the going rate for pay-per-views right now anyway. I've seen much worse cards than this go for that price tag. And this one is stacked top to bottom. And like I said, you're gonna see it's what every fan, not just boxing catalysts. Every fan wants to see knockouts and action. Period. That's what the card should be called: knockouts and action. Oh, and guess what?
Right.
Guess what? You're gonna get controversy that night. You're gonna get controversy.
Oh, well, I'm busy looking for my credit card over here, guys, cause I'll pay, charge it, whatever you need to do. I'm down with it. If you give me a quality boxing card, then you will be rewarded with the gift of a credit card number from me. Sorry, Emilio.
Me especially being stuck at home, they got my money already, so
Oh wow. Yeah, I heard it's gonna be at the movie theaters too. So I like watching it at the theaters. If I've got to be back, like if I can't be to the actual live event, I like going to the theater if they offer it nowadays. Because you damn sure can't have a boxing party the way we used to have boxing parties, right?
For now.
Yes, for now.
Well, I'm cool with 79.95 or whatever it is, but there's been a lot of pay-per-views in that range that didn't have a really really nice undercard, and this one speaks for itself. So they got my money,
yeah.
no
I
problem.
guess it depends how you order it. If you don't have ESPN Plus already, it's $86.98. So, but either
So
way,
if you have ESPN Plus, you got to pay on top of that.
oh, of course,
Oh yeah.
he knows
Okay,
that.
For
so yeah,
pay-per-view, yeah.
Yeah,
But
because
it's
they just billed me for my
Uh.
subscription, but okay,
It's-
so they get me coming and going.
Oh yeah,
it's a
Nice.
joint venture, guys. It's not just ESPN. The main pay-per-view, I believe, is Fox. Is through Fox Sports. So I believe it is $79.99, unless you're trying to view it on like ESPN without having the subscription and you just want a one-time viewership. then that's where they charge you the extra because you're not actually subscribing. And guess what? You're gonna be subscribed because that's the difference. So don't go for that BS. That's ESPN trying to throw that in at you. It's gonna be $79.99 on all cable outlets, pretty much.
Yeah, because it says ESPN and Fox pay-per-view, plus ESPN Plus and Fox Plus are going to have the undercards.
Oh, okay.
Well, a part of the undercard.
That's where it's getting confusing.
That's where it gets confusing, and they make you so pissed off when you get on there to ESPN, and then they just stop broadcasting all of a sudden, and you're like, oh, okay, well, where do I go now? Is it another on-demand click, or is it let me go to the TV, let me go to the cable? Like, I'm sitting there like, well, which one should I do?
Yeah,
and Fox definitely got me messed up a couple of times with the way they flip-flop from like a lower channel Fox and then go to a Fox Sports 1 or 2 when it gets close to the main event. So you got to be careful, guys. I'm sure it's going to be no difference for this one.
I could just do without the controversy, though.
Let's talk a little about some what ifs, okay? So right now, looking at it, and we have a draw for that first fight, but most people saw Fury pretty much outbox him for the most part, but officially a draw. Second fight, Fury just walked through him. So let's just say this third fight, let's say Wilder does get his knockout, we got to go through another one, right? Because we're still not to a point where we have a definitive winner. They market this as if it's the end all, but that's only if Fury wins, right?
True.
You done blew my mind with this whole scenario now, because you got me thinking, like, do you really have to have another? I mean, do they have another rematch clause? Like, you got me thinking about all kinds of things now. So you have just like.
I bet you Fury has one. I don't know about Wilder. I think Wilder's used it up. But should he win? I mean, I think it's going to be a fourth one. Maybe not right away.
I think down the line. I'm thinking down the line, definitely. I'm thinking down the line, definitely there could be a fourth one, and we would pay to see it because it not only all of this, it's a grudge match. These two hate each other, legitimately hate each other. So I could see this happening down the line. If it does, it'll probably be Fury's last fight.
I think this might be Fury's last fight.
Oh, you getting ahead,
I really
man.
do. Whether win or lose, I think he walks.
I don't think we're getting ahead. I think we're
confused
we're
because
to that
I
point.
know that the lead up was supposed to go towards him fighting AJ prior to him losing to Usyk. So now, if Fury does win, I mean, where does he go? I mean, there's no big fight out there that would be on this, the same status that a AJ versus Fury fight was gonna be, because it wouldn't be unification unless it was with Usyk. So I mean, right now, like if he wins this fight now and he wants to go ahead and schedule his officially last fight as he had planned prior to the loss for AJ, then who does he fight? Because then it's like, well, if you want all these titles unified, it would have to be Usyk, which doesn't make him necessarily the type of money that AJ fight was going to make him. So, I mean, is it more money that he would be possibly making if he went with a fourth Wilder fight, if it's another draw or Wilder wins? Definitely it's more money that way.
There was an interview that he did, I'm going to say about 2 weeks ago, where he had these really lofty goals about that he was going to beat Joshua next, and then he was going to go after, I forget, he had this plan laid out. And I'm like, this guy's just, did you guys hear that?
No.
Very lofty. No, he's very, very lofty about who he's going to beat next, and then he's going to whoop, everybody. And I'm thinking, this guy's just blowing smoke. it's just part of the banter that you hear before every heavyweight fight. But honestly, I think that he's had a difficult time in his the
Training
way
this
he has to
time.
formulate his training and everything and really stick to it. I think that he's done after this fight. I just don't see him going any further. If he does, cool, but honestly, I just don't see it.
So you don't see the hunger anymore? Is that what you're saying?
Not at all. Not at all. Not at all. I think that he's
Oh.
really, really struggling to stay in the game at this point mentally.
Mm-hmm.
The problem with Tyson Fury is he gets bored. Yes. In between fighting, all of this, even though he's a hell of a marketer, a hell of a promoter, he gets bored. And when he gets bored, that lifestyle is what comes in effect. So that's always been the problem with Fury. The game plan is this, though. You won the last bout. You get the 60-40 split. This fight is for the money. The next fight, or your last fight, should be the legacy. And that's the undisputed heavyweight champ. That's what the goal should be. If it's Usyk at that time, which it looks like is who it is, he should have no problem beating Usyk. At least he's going to be favored heavily at that to beat Usyk.
Right.
So you take this fight, you win it for the money. This is the money fight because remember he didn't want it. He wanted Joshua, and then the next fight is for your legacy, and you become undisputed.
Gosh, I mean,
think
I
that was
feel
the
like
plan,
if he's gonna do an additional fight after this, then it definitely should be to unify those titles, or it really don't make sense unless you just want a money grab. Like if
That
you
would be
want
it.
more money,
I believe I believe that I had heard he had expressed no interest in fighting Usyk.
really.
He did say that. Malachi, you're absolutely right, which is why I know he's gonna fight Usyk. Because that's what Tyson Fury does. He's already trying to start the mind games with Usyk, talking about, oh, I can train Joshua to beat him, and I have no interest because he's a bum. That's what Tyson Fury does. That's how I know he's leaning towards that as his next fight.
Oh my God, you went real psychological, Rob. Like, I don't know how the hell you got that out of him, like physically saying, I don't really have interest in fighting Usyk. And two, what you came up with, I'm like, I don't know. I mean, if he really is tired of this game and he got, kids and all these new kids and what is it, a grandchild now? I don't know. Like, he's not as focused on the total, what do you call it, strictness that training can, you have to be. It might be a stretch for him to be like, I can leave on top, but if I face Usyk and I'm having a bad night and I don't train the way I know I really don't want to, this is gonna hurt my legacy, as you say.
Yeah, I don't know. I personally agree with James. I mean, it definitely could be that this is his last fight. I think that's all on how this fight with Wilder on Saturday plays out, on whether he's going to continue or not. And Javi, what were you going to say, buddy? Didn't mean to cut you off.
I don't think I can agree with you guys. I mean, I think Fury, what he's lacking is a challenge. And honestly, he deeply believes that Wilder is no longer a challenge. You know what I'm saying? So he will, as we saw before everything happened, and him having to do this rematch and everything, he was scheduled to fight AJ. So he knows he needs to fight AJ. He knows there's Usyk in there if he needs to unify the titles. And maybe after that, I don't know why you guys are retiring him already. But yeah, I mean, he's been a bit quiet, I think, on this particular fight coming up for this trilogy. But I don't think he's done yet. I think Tyson Fury is the type to, he's gonna as long as there's a challenge out there, he's gonna go for it. But when he's no longer feels like there's nothing else to accomplish, that's when I feel like maybe he'll see his last fight. But as of now, no. I think he knows he needs to fight AJ. He needs to close business with Wilder, and if Usyk is still holding those titles, then he needs to take those from Usyk.
All right.
Okay, I'm tired of people saying that AJ is still a possibility here. Okay,
It is though.
He is.
Ass Juice is no longer a possibility.
According
Why
to
are you
you,
saying that?
according
It's
to
no
you,
longer a possibility.
Damn.
The man has 2 losses
when they
on
make
his
those
career,
numbers,
lost every single title that he had, and respect in my book.
Man.
according to you, but when the promoters put the numbers up and the networks put the numbers up, and those numbers comes up lovely, and do the math for them, they're gonna do it.
In England, in the UK, they make sense. The big show, the big stage is here. Period. It's here. That is not gonna sell tickets in the US.
3.3 million followers.
I can't agree with
He's got.
Oh,
That's all it takes. You don't even have to be a
agree with
fighter. Look at Jake Paul. You don't even have to be a fighter, okay? But Joshua is a fighter, and he's got 3.3 million fans behind him. He is going to get anything he wants because the dollar bill.
Well, I did
look at it,
hear
look at-
they had AJ in an article stating that he said I could still fight Fury, you know, for the WBC title. I don't have to have these belts that Usyk has in order to fight him. He has already came out publicly and said that.
Oh,
Get it together,
and he
guys.
does have the fan base.
They're gonna fight.
Well, yeah, and just look at the attendance at Joshua Usyk. That
oh
was,
man.
Sensational, 60-some thousand, 66,000, I guess it was.
You know, I wanted to touch on that as something that we never touched on. Okay, when they all started swinging "Sweet Caroline," man,
You think
I ain't ever heard 60,000 damn people singing the same song simultaneous like that. It was amazing.
They're in the UK. Again, I don't deny all that. They're in the
Hey,
UK. They're
hey,
not doing those.
I'm putting that on the bucket list. A big fight in the
guarantee
UK before I die. I gotta
I
see
agree,
that.
Lucas. I'm
Ooh,
with you.
man.
I think the UK fans are the
Them,
shit.
the
Okay,
fans
they
are just
like-
different. Boxing is just different in the UK.
And they're gonna fight in the UK, and they're gonna sell in the USA, and they're gonna make a worldwide event, and they're not gonna leave those numbers on the table because Robert from Heavy Boxing says that Ass Juice doesn't disturb that shit.
I'm not the
They're
only
not
one.
gonna make it happen.
I'm not the only one. Let them come to the US and see if they buy it like they should.
But they don't have. Our
Robert,
point is that they
I
don't have
believe-
to.
I believe you will buy that. You will buy that fight the way that you bought this YouTuber's fight. So you're gonna you say that now, but you're gonna be curious.
Oh man.
You're gonna buy that fight. I guarantee you.
I'm not.
By the way, they
buying-
sold out
I'm
in
not
one
supporting that
day.
man for
They
nothing.
sold
Man.
completely out. That entire 60,000 sold out in one day.
And
I think it
If
was
you
a couple
bought a
hours.
and mind you, that was Usyk. If you get Joshua Fury, oh my God, you better get a bigger stadium. And I don't know if
And
there
if
is
you
a
call
bigger
yourself
stadium.
In the
boxing
UK,
fan?
I'm not denying that. It's the UK. I'm not arguing that, people. But they're not going to do that shit here. They're
Yes,
not.
they are.
No, but they
Yes,
don't
they
need
are.
to do it here. Why would they need to do it here? Why would you want to do it here when you can sell out Wembley Stadium?
Because this is where the mecca of boxing is. Has always been.
No,
This is where the mecca of
Rob.
boxing was. Let's get
Is.
something straight, okay? You ain't never seen nothing like Usyk versus Joshua over here. Our fans ain't like that. Okay?
Guys, I guarantee you there are gonna be a lot of pay-per-view here too. And for all the boxing fans out there, if you call yourself a boxing fan and you have a pay-per-view from YouTubers and you don't support AJ versus Fury, check yourself. Check your temperature and check yourself. Show us a negative test because
Now-
you're definitely delusional right now.
Yeah, you gotta agree with me.
Now I'm disagreeing with Hobby there because you pay for Jake Paul for the entertainment. You pay for that show for entertainment.
Okay, and you
Hey.
want pay-per Fury versus AJ?
You pay for Fury versus AJ because you want to actually see a boxing match. Unfortunately, Joshua's a bum, so you're not going to see a legit boxing match.
Wow.
They're gonna hype it up. They're gonna be like, "Oh, AJ is doing this training. He's using this different trainer. He's, he sees some improvement. He's really worked hard." That's all it's gonna take, because people are gonna be like, especially British people, that's gonna actually buy the pay-per-view, buy the live gate. They're gonna be into it because it's UK versus UK. It's a
Guys, think
similar
about it.
scenario to what Amir Khan versus Brooks would have been. Like,
Well,
it's like that hype that they had around that fight that they lost. And now everybody is like not willing to lose that type of money ever again. Like, they see how that fight was just, pretty much destroyed when it was so much money at play with that fight. And then you keep saying it's not a US fight, but you have to realize that boxing has evolved a little bit more since we have these new platforms, and we can now like enjoy fighters from the British and the European boxers more here in the United States even. And the same goes for them. They're also having more accessibility to watching us too with our boxers. So it's more of a global, the boxing is more global than it's been in a very long time. Well, pretty much since, Ali and Mike Tyson were traveling, they traveled and fought everywhere around the world. But now, you can be in the UK and you can see a fight that's over in, Vegas with just your Wi-Fi, as long as you got a Wi-Fi signal.
That's what I'm saying.
It's totally different.
Yeah, and think about it. Like most of the fights that are pay-per-view here, people in the UK, they watch it for free. Just if you have Matchroom,
Yep.
or you have BTC Plus, if you have one of those channels, you don't even need the pay-per-view. So think about that. We never get a pay-per-view from the UK for free here in one of the networks. We still have to pay for the pay-per-view. Meanwhile, our pay-per-view here in America that we have to pay for, even freaking YouTubers that boxing fans buy, they get it for free over there in the UK. So think about that one. Think about that one. There's a lot of money in the table, and it's not going to be left bare because AJ doesn't have a title, or Fury can lose right now.
Oh,
right?
yeah,
Fury
that's what
can
I was
lose
about to
this
say.
fight, and they will still make that fight happen. I put it on God, like Braun said.
Everybody talking about Fury AJ, but let's face it, he might not win that. He may not win Saturday. We're already talking, and it sounds like y'all have made up your mind already that Fury's gonna win.
Why not? I mean, I don't see what makes you think that he's not gonna win. I feel like he's gonna win and more decisive.
Because of what James said. James is saying that he's kind of like having more problems with, putting the preparation in that he did in the second fight.
My thing is, I just don't think he's that motivated. I don't see it.
James gonna retire him already. I don't know why, but I don't see it.
Well, really, what motivation does Fury have to necessarily go all out in this fight when he knows, I could possibly lose, but AJ, I just lost, so we can still make this fight. So it's like, it's not like I have to win in order to get this bout. It's more like, the next bout with AJ.
Well, he's not thinking about losing. I tell you that. Any fighter they're not trained thinking, I might lose this one, but I'll get on the next
Let's
one.
do it.
Yeah,
go into predictions. No, I'm saving mine for last.
Oh, you're saving yours. Okay.
Go
who
into
wants to
predictions.
go?
I'm going with Fury. Either decision or late stoppage. I'm going with Fury. I think I think Fury is taking this serious. He probably doesn't look motivated because he's not talking much. He pretty much he beat him the first time, because I thought he won the first time, even though the draw was okay due to those 2 knockdowns at the end. But the second time, it was just, we already know what happened. I don't think Wilder is still over the things that happened, and all this talk, all this delusional conspiracy theories that he came out with, it's gonna play in him. And once those bombs start coming, he's gonna have to answer not the questions of the fans, but his own questions. And it's hard to be answering your own questions that's been troubling for you sometimes, while there's a almost 7-foot man coming in there and trying to knock your head off. You know what I'm saying? I'm going with Fury by decision or late stoppage.
Okay. James?
I think Fury takes it. pretty much won the battle. In the first fight, he pretty much handled it. He won most of the rounds, save for the knockdowns, so where he lost points. In the second fight, he just manhandled Wilder. I don't see much difference, although it's interesting to see because he's got the new trainer and all this new energy, and so we'll see. In the end, I would go with Fury. Fury decision or late stoppage, like Javi.
This was hard for me, guys, but I think I'm actually rolling with Wilder. My reason being is mainly for the change in training. I'd seen what little he has released. He does seem to have his feet actually placed underneath him correctly and has some more of the fundamentals back. Not that he ever really had it, but but he definitely seems to have his head on a little bit better too, which is saying a lot. And let's put it this way, even as predictable as he was in that first fight, he still got that big knockdown. If he can just be unpredictable and show some new steps in his game that Fury has not seen, he's going to connect. And that's all Wilder has to do on anybody. I don't care if anybody on that undercard. He can knock anybody out in the world. This man has power, and he has been doing nothing but sliding off of it and riding that power because he really lacks fundamentals. And with that little bit of fundamentals, I think is all he'll need. He's going to be able to land that big shot, and that's all it's going to take. Fury's going out this time. I'm going to say about 6 or 7. And then we're going to be back here next week discussing where do we go from here. That's my take on it. Malachi.
I've been quite adamant. I've taken Fury from the moment this fight was announced. I've really thought Fury would win the rematch since the ref stopped the fight in the second one. But I am concerned. I do see some things from Fury mentally. Is he mentally in the game? If he's mentally in the game, I don't see Wilder beating him. If Fury has let outside distractions, the fame get to him, then he's going to be in trouble because you have to be on point when you're fighting a guy who has the power of Deontay Wilder. And Wilder is quite athletic. And I have seen the training videos, and I agree with Lucas. He looks better fundamentally, but that's also in training, hitting pads, hitting the bag. It's a little different when you're in the ring, and you tend to fall back into some of your old habits because it takes longer than just one fight to break a lot of old habits that you've been carrying with you through the years.
For sure. And
gotten by with because of your power. I'm taking Fury. I think Fury will win this fight, and I think he's going to win it between the 8th and 9th round. I think that just once again, I don't think that Wilder, because we haven't seen him since the Fury fight anyone. I can't be sold that he's going to see that right hand coming. I think that that 1-2. I think ever since the first fight when Tyson Fury got up off the mat and figured out, hey, if I fight off my front foot coming forward, this guy has problems seeing the punches coming. And I think he carries that to the W again.
Rob, I think
Very cool.
I think you're all that's left, but
Shakur, did you go?
I think she went, didn't she?
No,
she didn't.
I was just, listening to everybody and their opinions. Well, unlike Javi, I don't see the first fight as being a Fury fight. I see it pretty much as one for Wilder. I see the second fight as clearly a Fury fight. And I feel like this third fight is going to be an entirely another different fight, different style used. I think anytime you have somebody like a Fury with his skill level, is I mean, people are forgetting that Fury has been hit or miss with the way that he performs. And then you got somebody like Wilder who also has his ups and downs as far as performance. I don't believe that Wilder doesn't have fundamentals already, but I think it is what Malachi says, where you start building habits because you don't have to use your fundamentals that you learned early in your career when you was Olympian. You don't have to do all that because you know you had the power. And I also think that Wilder in that second fight did some uncharacteristic things that he knows he shouldn't have been doing leading up to his fight. And I think he's learned quite a bit from that. But I'll just say that each fight is different. I'm just saying each fight is pretty different when you have two fighters that fight the way that they do. Like last camp for Fury, having the additional weight on, using the crunk gym fundamentals, which is for heavyweights, which is a little bit more intense and slick than your regular boxing that he did against a Klitschko. We saw a different range of skills that he actually had forgotten, the same way that Wilder forgotten some of his fundamentals. Like, Fury was in the crunk gym early in his career when Emmanuel Stewart was still alive. So we have to realize that some of this stuff that boxers know in the beginning, they might also forget and start being lackadaisical and doing things that way that they want to, because they hadn't been challenged before. But I think that each fight is different. I really don't have a winner right now, guys. I could see this really and truly. I'm thinking this could also be a bona fide draw if it is similar at all to the first fight. If it's Fury comes in, he's way heavier than Wilder, 40 pounds, 30 pounds. I forget what was 30 or 32 pounds. However much, you got that much difference, no matter what division you're in, you're going to see somebody be able to dominate a lot more than a person that's going in there and they're both the same size. So I think these are all things that we would need to see this week during the weigh-in, as well as the night of the fight, to really discern if that's also going to be in play, like the weights that they're going to be. So I would not be surprised if this ends up being a draw. But I do believe that Wilder has honed in on those skills that he might have lost since being able to knock out people so easily. So if he does have a reset button and Malik Scott is able to do that, then we could be looking at an upset. We could be looking at Wilder being able to get his WBC title back. To me, it seemed like it's more do or die for Wilder than it is for Fury. Fury gets to go on whether he loses or wins. He gets to go on to fight a AJ fight. Wilder, if he loses, where does he go?
He goes
Okay, I don't know.
answer his own questions. And guys, let's be honest here. I mean, I can agree with the fact that you guys said, well, maybe Wilder go back to his fundamentals. Honestly, King Kong and a few other fighters exposed Wilder before when they were outpunching him, and they showed that the lack of his skills, that he pretty much just depended on that power punch. Right?
So many have.
Right.
So many.
So what makes you think that he's gonna go back to the fundamentals? What fundamentals? I don't think he was fundamentally sound from the beginning. Now, I'm sure his coaches helping him with a few things, but it's like Malachi said, sometimes you train and you correct a few things in the gym, and it might serve you in the fight. But I think once those hits start coming, and then either you go back to your habitual self, to whatever you know, or two, is like your ego is gonna get the best of you, and you might not stick to the plan, and you might get carried out of the plan because your ego got hurt, and then you're in trouble.
See, the fundamentals are what opens it up, though, right? The fundamentals open everything up for you, and all he needs is an opening. That's my eyes. I mean, Wilder, by far, pound for pound, has the most power of any fighter that I've even seen. I mean, to to be able to put down Fury. He's been able to put down. I feel like I need to start singing Roy Jones. Y'all must have forgot, because Wilder is the most powerful man in boxing that's probably ever been around. We haven't seen this man. This man, like you were saying, Javi, has lacked fundamentals all throughout his career. He throws punches from places that don't make any damn sense. He's got his legs crossed. He does windmill punches and shit. He's never set correctly. If this man actually sets his feet properly and throws a punch, man, he could break a brick wall. I don't know what he can do. But all I'm saying is them fundamentals, yeah, it may not be. It may be too little too late, Javi. I'll agree with you there. It may be. But if it doesn't, and it does open up that spot, it opens up that door, say goodnight, Tyson Fury.
Well, one of the things
All right.
Tyson Fury's got going for him is that he can move. He can move. He's a good defensive fighter.
He can. And he did.
He uses the jab to protect himself. So
He's the better
we'll see.
boxer.
I just feel like, guys, I have to just say one thing. Like, to me, it's like when other boxers get in there and they have awkward styles, he's like, oh, he's a very awkward fighter. Oh, he's very, he comes at you from different angles and things like that. He's very unorthodox. We hear words like that, but for Wilder, why has it got to be like, oh, he just don't have no fundamentals? When there's a lot of boxers out here that do the same type of shit. They do.
Well, we're not talking about Emmanuel Augustus.
Boxers.
We're not talking about drunken style, though. We're talking about his feet are together as he throws. We're talking about the windmill punches and just the crazy, not set in any shape or form. He's not even in a boxing stance as he throws some of these shots.
I understand what you're saying, but my point is that as long as he understood how to set up a KO, which is what he does understand to do, which is what you would do if you had that kind of power. That would be your strategy going into every fight. But all I'm saying is it just seemed like his extra criticism about the way he fights and he punches, even though it's got him so many wins and got him to retain his title for over 5 years. But we don't use those same phrases when we want to talk about him. And I don't understand why. Why is it that he's just like, oh, so terrible, when we got other boxers that do similar things, and all we say is they are unorthodox and they are, pretty much, awkward. They have an awkward style.
Because it's a different
even Fury got an awkward style. Fury for years has been like irky jerking, and people say, "Oh, that's an awkward style." So it's not just Wilder that does these type of tactics, but it would work. It worked for him for 5 years, so there's no need or no warrant to me to complain about it at this point. It retained him his title for 5 years.
Understood. But let me go ahead and break my segment down in this situation. Now I'm gonna start with a question, rapid fire. Don't want no rants here, but Lord. Rapid fire.
Do a rapid fire before you even do your prediction.
Right?
Just a rapid fire. But is any of y'all at all worried based off of what happened last time after the last fight that Wilder's corner isn't gonna want to call the fight when they should? Is anybody worried about his health because of the pressure he's putting on his camp to maybe let him go out, so to speak, on his shield and not call the fight?
Not at all.
No.
No, these guys are paid. These guys are paid professionals, man. They got a job to do. And if it's time to call it, they call it. If it's not, they don't.
They're not gonna call it. He fired his all-time training.
If he's in trouble.
So you're worried, Bobby?
I'm not worried, but I don't think he's gonna call it. If somebody's gonna call it, it's gonna be the doctor or the ref. I'm sure Wilder is gonna tell everybody, do not call it. I let go of this person for this because of this. There's a lot of ego in that corner, so that I don't think it's gonna happen. What I think is the ref will stop it once they see that Wilder's no longer available to, defend himself. And Fury's all over. Fury said it. He's coming for the knockout. And I believe a lot of people say Wilder punch, power, and this and that. Fury's also a big boy, and he can punch. He showed a little bit, Wilder a little bit chinny. Wilder never recovered. King Kong hurt him. He got extra, after 1 minute, he got an extra 30 seconds. So there's a lot of things that a lot of unanswered questions that we have. One thing for sure though, one is the better boxer. One already has the mental game won. So the other one also put more pressure on himself. There's a lot of I guess there's a lot of things playing into this one. I'm not worried. I don't know. I guess some people be concerned about the fighters, but I'm not worried about his corner not stopping the fight if he's getting hurt, because it's obviously
Okay.
what happened on his last fight. We know that everybody on that corner is already on told. You do something that we didn't tell you, you're fired. You're out. And nobody's
Lucas,
gonna do it. Nobody's gonna lose their job.
No, I agree with Javi. I think Wilder's already pre-told everybody, you stop this fight, you're fired. So I agree completely with what Javi said.
Shakur?
Are you asking, am I as a fan concerned about him not having a team that would protect him? Or are we just simply saying, will the corner protect him or not?
Well, that's what Lucas and Javi took it as, which means there should be a concern, because they're absolutely right. I think the corner is not going to stop this fight because they're told by any means necessary, do not stop the fight. That's a concern. But they're not concerned because Javi said he thinks the ref or the doctors will be able to step in.
Yeah, that didn't work out too good last time. So, I mean, I'm not confident of that either. But I am a little slightly worried that they won't do their true jobs of taking care of their boxer. When you're a training team, that does also include protecting life so that they see their family another day. So if you can, if you're the type of trainer or you're the type of team that's going to allow money to dictate whether you have you have actually assisted someone in having CTE damage or severe CTE damage or worse, then that's something you have to answer to whatever higher power you have. But I'm hoping that he does have Malik Scott as a true friend of his, like family, that in the back of his mind would not allow money to interfere with what his true job is, which is to protect him.
Okay. So, good topic to open it up. Here's my breakdown. Everybody's sitting here questioning Fury's work ethic, and is his mind into it? The distractions getting to him. You got to remember that this is an undefeated fighter. Undefeated. At the highest level that you can be in sports. So, I don't question his work ethic at all. Even with the distractions, I think he's professional enough to know how to go in there and get the job done with anybody who steps in the ring with him.
Who are we talking about?
Fury.
Oh, okay.
Awesome. Wilder has never beaten this man, Tyson Fury. Hasn't. He's had a draw, and then now he looked extremely bad in the second fight. Not only that, he was humiliated.
But weren't you one that said he got that long count and he should have won?
Lucas, don't let me.
Okay. I just got to keep you honest, buddy.
I say that, but still, that gets in your head that you couldn't knock this man out, even if he got the extra time, and you couldn't even beat him with 2 knockdowns in the fight.
Okay.
He's already in his head.
Well, he was knocked out now.
Then in the second fight, he gets humiliated. Humiliated in the second fight. And what should he have done after this? He should have humbled himself. He should have took his loss, looked inside, looked at what he's done. I get it. He's made moves and transitions in camp. But what has he done to himself? What has he done on the inside as a person? What has he said to himself? What has he looked at? He made excuses. He didn't humble himself to a loss. Now, Fury stepping into a trilogy has the utmost confidence in beating this man. Even more so to the fact that he stated, it might be BS, we don't know, but he stated, I don't even have to train as hard as I normally do. to beat this man.
Hmm.
I know I'm gonna beat him. So he already has the confidence that he's gonna win this fight with Deontay Wilder. So you put that all together. Deontay Wilder is winning this fight by knockout. And when I say that, y'all, I'm gonna say this. Hopefully we don't get sued. Yesterday's price is not today's price.
No.
A U.S. heavyweight will be champion. If you want to be crowned and be the best heavyweight, come to the United States, fight Deontay Wilder.
I feel a little confused, but at the same time, I'm like, man, he picked who I picked, so now I don't know. I'm really confused. But imagine it, guys. Can't you see Fury knocked out, right, with Wilder on the mic saying, I told you he was cheating, I told you, and then the lies continue. I told you he patted those gloves, or, took the padding out, whatever.
I can't see that.
I can see that.
Everything that I just said.
No, if he wins.
If he wins.
Let me finish connecting the dots, because Lucas is confused. Because everything I just said about Fury and getting it is getting in the head of Wilder. It put something in him. It possessed something in him that wants to win this fight more than life itself. I believe he wants to not only win, he wants to knock out Fury bad, more than life itself.
So you think he's more dangerous now because this man's willing to die?
Absolutely more dangerous. When you have a fighter like that, and he has the killer be killed mentality, and you know he can do it, dangerous.
Yeah, but the thing about it is that you guys forget about Fury. Fury's a fucking gypsy, man. They don't need to talk it. They don't need to say, I'm ready to die. They don't say it. They ready to die. They don't say it. They'll show you. They literally don't give a fuck. They just ruthless. They don't say much, but they're savage, and they're willing to go and bleed out in there. And I think Fury is that type. His whole family comes from that type. So you guys, I mean, I understand. It's the whole beauty of this fight is like we expect Wilder to come back and come back harder, because he did put that pressure on himself after all that extra shit that he said and talked and all this, even the customs things that about his custom being too heavy, the water being spiked, the gloves, his water, his trainer, the conspiracy, blah blah blah. So all of that pressure is just something that he put on himself. So a lot of people are trying to see, if that's true or not. But again, I think when it comes to the mental game, Fury already got that one in the bag. So now it's about, I guess Wilder showing us that that changes that he did with his training and everything is better. That he's gonna get in there and try to do his job and find himself again, because I think he lost a little bit of himself on the last fight, and I can't blame him. When you're on top of the world, like he was, knocking everybody out, and you saw yourself indestructible, and then you get stopped, not just losing the fight, but getting stopped, which is bad. That plays a lot of mental on a fighter. Mind you, he also has a bunch of yes men in his corner, in his circle. Yes men that they're not telling him, you need to work on this, you need to work on that. They're just feeding on his excuses, like, oh yeah, that's what happened. If you don't have somebody to be like, nah, chum, hold on. I love you. You're my brother and everything, but I'm gonna call you out on your bullshit. All right? You're bullshitting. There's certain things that you just talking all this extra shit. We need to get back to the basics, to enjoy more and work on a few things. If he doesn't have that in the corner because everybody's afraid to lose their job, then we're gonna see it. Just like we see sometimes, with this kid Gabriel Flores, right? On the Valdez undercard.
Mhm.
That corner, when somebody is being like that and they're climbing up and they got the hype and they're on top of the world, and then all of a sudden they see adversity and they never prepare for that moment, and there's nobody that's gonna hold down. Everybody start pointing fingers, blaming this, blaming that. It just looks sadly unorganized. And I'm not saying that's what's gonna happen, but I'm curious not just about Wilder, but about the whole corner, corner for this fight, win or lose.
Well, let me tell y'all this, Javi. You made very great points right there. Very great points. It's dangerous. This is a different game. This is a very different game. These are scary hours for Tyson Fury. You know why? Because the number one thing that we said we needed to see about Wilder is this type of adversity. This is the number one thing we needed to see. This is the number one thing you want to see from any champion in the sport, is how they take this type of adversity and for the skill, the power, not just the skills. Let's throw all that out the window. The power that he possesses and the skill that he possesses to display time and time again that power with one punch, two punch, it doesn't matter. He's taking your head off out there. He's getting you out. And for him to take this adversity and say, I don't want to fight anybody else on the planet. I don't want to think about another fight. All I want in life right now, at this very moment, is to knock Tyson Fury out.
I agree with him there. I think the hunger is definitely on Wilder's side. And like I said, even in that first fight where he did knock him down, yeah, he landed it, but he didn't really land it. You know what I mean? It wasn't super flush either. And he put him down like that. I mean, imagine if he really connects. And that's what I was meaning by that, you know, some of those fundamentals, you know, if he can actually connect, it's over. And
I agree with you there, man, because Wilder, he's got that killer moneymaker, right? And if he can employ that, man, if he can land it and detonate it on Fury's jaw, he's going down. But Fury's moving a lot. And Fury's got head movement, upper body movement.
I agree with you.
He's got some skills, man. It's going to be hard to land that punch.
Yeah.
This is interesting. It's a really, really interesting fight.
Yeah. And notice how everybody's pointing the power, you know, the power. His right hand, devastating knockout, power, punch. What do you think? Teams Fury doesn't know that? You think Fury's not aware of that? Fury have said it. He can coast anybody. He can finish a career with that right hand. Anybody. But Fury's another animal. And who's the better boxer? Fury. Now, you guys keep saying, you know, you guys said, well, if he lands, if he connects, if he sits down, if he's going to the fundamental, if. What about Fury? What if he connects? What if he comes on the instead of the first round, instead of kind of feeling him over and testing the waters, he just comes at him and dog him like he did last time. Just manhandle him like he did last time.
I hear what you're saying. Javi, but you're talking about Fury like he's Usyk, okay? He can't be on his P's and Q's for 12 rounds. He has never been that way. If you look at Otto Wallin and other stuff, he gets touched up on a regular basis. Fury is not this like defensive-minded fighter like Alexander Usyk. He's fighting a guy in Wilder that you can't get touched up. You cannot get hit because that hit may be, you're done. Okay, so this is a different animal. You know, you say Joshua's a different animal, but Wilder's a different animal from Fury. I mean, I definitely agree that Fury's the stronger boxer. He has the better skills overall, but nobody can doubt that Wilder has the more powerful punches.
And I just see that with Fury's skills, man. It's going to be a very, very long night for Wilder.
Yeah, it could. And nobody's denying Wilder's power. You know, he has it. Understood. But again, in order for that power to it has to connect, and that power is like electric shock, right? And Fury showed us already on the first fight and the second fight that he can turn the switch off. Like, okay, power off. Now let's see what you got. And you know, another thing that I wanted to say, because you guys brought it up with AJ and Wilder, right? What makes me curious about this whole fight is how Wilder's gonna come back from that loss, because like I said, when you're on top of the world, it says a lot about you when you're winning, knocking everybody out. But when you hit rock bottom, like he probably did right now after his loss, is what tells you a lot about a man on defeat. Now, look, a lot of people saying AJ is a bum. A lot of people are writing him off because how he lost to Usyk. It couldn't be. He's a bum. He always was a bum because he lost. But look, notice how he took his L. Notice how he taken already twice his L. He behaved like a champ. He's not making excuses. He's not saying all that extra shit He took his L, gave props, get back to work. Wilder didn't do
Understood.
that. So
Did-
me personally, that was a letdown, and it says a lot about a man. So now I'm curious how he's gonna come back after all the extra things that he said and his team
Right.
came out with.
But-
So I'm
Me and you
curious for
both. Me and you both. I'm looking
this is
forward
what's
to it.
scary, Javi. This is what's scary. He's already touched him up in the first fight. He couldn't get him out of there. So what's scary is, what are you gonna do if Wilder says, "I'm gonna kill this man"? I'm not just gonna stick with a one punch knockout. If he gets up, I'm gonna knock him out again. I'm gonna knock him out again. I'm gonna knock him out. That's what's scary. That's what's scary about it. What are you gonna do if Wilder is prepared to keep punching this man as hard as physically possible until he knocks him out?
We got CJ Hooker says Wilder's career is on the line. He has to win or he goes back of the line. I think we will get a fourth fight to break the 1-1-1 tie. CJ's agreeing with me. And Rob.
And Sakura, he's agreeing with me too. I mean, the thing that got me is that you guys are all proving my point more than Rob's point, which is that this is a fight where you could easily get a draw again. And let's just talk about, this whole mental fortitude that you guys are talking about on both of their parts. They could be having some mental things. But I want to point out a couple of wrong intuitions, because some people, when they feel that they're in a they've had some emotional upset or something happened that mentally affected them, they actually build off that and they become stronger. And then you have others that it's a real setback and they're really depressed and they're not able to move forward. They're not even able to get back out of the bed, much less go to a training gym every day. And we also have to remember that we had a whole COVID year in which Wilder was still training. Fury was probably not training as much. And we got a whole year where even if he did start out, Wilder started out having a mental thing about this, we have to remember that was a whole year ago now. Like, I mean, literally, we're talking about a whole year and a half ago now that loss happened. That's a lot of time that's already passed to where you can build up your mind and get more mentally focused on something. And I'd like to just point out too, Wilder did not say that he thought his costume was to blame. It was actually some people that asked his training team, do they think that the outfit had something to do with it? But they never said it was the outfit. So that was another like bait click situation where people, created this explanation. Two, guys, the glove did look suspect. I don't give a damn what y'all say. If you go back and watch it, Fury's gloves did look a little wobbly. And three, I totally don't think that it matters who won the first fight or who won the second fight, because this is a brand new damn fight. Like, this is like them fighting an entirely first round fight again. Not a 12 or 24. Now what this would be a 25th round. No, this is just like one again, because every time they fight, it's like they both know each other's number, but then they both exhibit different qualities in each fight. Like, I don't know what we're gonna get in this fight. I just find it very interesting. It's very intriguing, and it's a don't miss fight.
It is, and I just want to say that I agree with you, but I just want to say that I think Fury's got the skills to win this fight. I wouldn't mind seeing Wilder win it, simply because I'd like to see someone rectify a situation and come back and get their victory. Very, very interesting fight. I don't think I've ever been so interested in a heavyweight fight ever. I can't wait for this one.
I think I got y'all more pumped up with everything that I said, because your spirits right now are like here.
True.
Lucas, we cannot hear you.
Man, I think Malik Scott is going to have a long, hard look at the gloves and the wraps before this fight, especially after everything that, Wilder was saying. So I I think even the pre-antics are going to be super entertaining before they even step into the ring. But we've gone way past what I wanted to. But, you know, I'm feeling under the weather by a lot. But I just couldn't stop. I couldn't stop. It was good talk. So thank you all for coming on. All you guys definitely helped keep my mind off of it. So thank you very much. And we will check you out again. Follow us next Tuesday. 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. Looking into getting a guest, maybe Demetrius Andrade. Maybe. We're going to see what we can talk about and see what we can get on. But definitely somebody could be on next week. For everybody here at Heavy Bag Boxing, check us out at heavybagboxing.com. As always, we don't pull any punches. And we'll see you again next week.